My daughter spent 3 weeks planning her cousin's birthday party, and I ended up paying $2,300 for it. Then we found out that she wasn't even invited because she was in a wheelchair, so we decided not to go. Instead, we sent this gift. When they opened it, half of the guests left because Lily spent several weeks meticulously planning Emily's birthday, putting her heart and soul into every detail. From handmade invitations to personalized decorations, she made sure everything was perfect. It wasn't just a party, it was her chance to show that no matter what, she can be just like everyone else. And I felt like it was the least I could do to help her feel included. When I saw how excited she was, how she was beaming when she wrote the guest list, I didn't hesitate to pay for everything, $2,500 for the venue, the magician, the catering, all of it. I thought it was worth it. I thought I was doing the right thing. And then we found out she wasn't invited. The letter never came. Not a failure, not a delay, everyone else had theirs. My phone buzzed with an animated invitation to the event, with dancing animals and fireworks, the words "You are invited" flashing on the screen as if it were the Oscars. I got an invitation, her brother got an invitation, even my ex-husband, who hadn't shown up to a single family event in years, got an invitation. And Lily? Nothing. She jealously checked her inbox morning, noon, and night, waiting for an email to appear. Each time she clicked refresh, waited and saw nothing. With each passing hour, her smile began to diminish. I convinced myself that it was nothing. Maybe my sister just forgot, maybe the email got lost somewhere, maybe it got caught in a spam filter. I mean, my sister was scattered 3 kids, a full-time job, everything on her plate. It's easy to miss one small detail. But Lily didn't think so. I called my sister. My phone was on speakerphone and I could hear Lily in the background folding napkins into perfect triangles for the party. She was so proud of how well she was doing. I could hear her humming softly, a slight smile playing on her face as she envisioned the party in her head. "Hey, I'm curious," I said casually, trying to pretend it wouldn't be something that would break me. "Did Lily get an invitation?" There was silence on the other end of the line. Then, finally, "Yes, Tyler asked if Lily could not come." I thought I hadn't heard her. "I'm sorry, what?" She hesitated. "Tyler just thinks that, with the wheelchair and everything, it might be too much." My heart sank. I looked at Lily, who had stopped folding napkins. Her arms hung in the air, as still as a statue. Her eyes remained glued to the table, refusing to meet mine. I didn't say anything. I couldn't trust myself not to speak and break down right there. I hung up the phone and sat in silence. The dishwasher whirred in the background, and the faint sounds of an evening song came from the Bluetooth speaker. Then Lily's voice, soft and distant, broke the silence. "He doesn't want me there." Not a question. A simple, painful fact. My chest burned, but I couldn't let her see me fall apart. I exhaled a strong breath, trying to keep it together. "He's an idiot," I said in a steady voice. "You're the reason half of this party happened." She didn't answer, just nodded, swallowing hard, keeping her eyes on the napkins. "I thought maybe they'd forgotten," she whispered. "I didn't think they really wouldn't invite me." I couldn't find the words. I didn't want to swear, so I didn't say anything. A few minutes passed, and she quietly left for her room without saying another word, closing the door quietly behind her. This silence struck me the most. Later that night, I opened my laptop and stared at the spreadsheet I had made detailing all the costs I had paid to help my sister with the party: $800 for the venue, $300 for the magician, $450 for decorations, $200 for extra food, and $550 for souvenirs and balloons. A total of $2,300. I stared at the numbers and realized that they had not only excluded her, but had allowed her to organize all of this to eventually get her out the door. I felt sick to my stomach. I thought I was helping. I thought that being the one who always says yes was the right thing to do. But all I did was finance a party that hurt my daughter. And then I made a decision. We are not going. None of us. Not Lily, not her brother, not me. But we will send a gift. A gift they will not forget. The next morning at breakfast, I told Lily, "We are not going." She wasn't even surprised. She just nodded, staring at her cereal. But then I added, "We are sending something now." She looked up, raised her eyebrows. "What is it?" I shrugged, and a slight smile appeared on my lips. "Something they won't forget." She paused, and then for the first time since the phone call, she really smiled at me. "Am I going to get in trouble for this?" I shook my head. "Of course not. Will you get into trouble?" "I hope so." And just like that, the fog of disappointment cleared a little. We didn't talk much after that, but we didn't need to. We both knew what we had to do. I didn't need revenge, not really. I just needed the truth so I could go to that party and sit by the cake. They wanted her to sit quietly. We were going to make some noise. When I finished wrapping the gift, I wasn't just angry about the party. It wasn't the money or the party itself. It was the burden of everything that came before it. All the little moments I had swallowed, all the times I had let things go because it was family. All these years, I pretended that everything was fine, that I was fixing everything, that I was the helper that everyone turned to when something went wrong. But not anymore. I'm done pretending. It's funny, isn't it? Being the one in charge, the one everyone relies on, you think it deserves respect. But in reality, all you get is more expectations and silence. Because when you are considered strong, no one checks to see if you are okay. They just keep shifting more and more burdens onto you, as if you were made for it. I remember the day my sister Jessica found out she was pregnant with Tyler. She showed up at my apartment, mascara smeared on her face, with no plans, no job, no idea what to do. I hugged her while she cried, made her tea, told her everything would be fine. I let her move in with me, rent-free, for 8 months. She didn't buy a single thing, didn't cook a meal, and when she moved out, it was as if nothing had happened. Her boyfriend finally got his act together, and she started setting boundaries. "We need space," she said. "You understand, right?" Of course I understood. That's what I was good at. Understanding. Being the one who always had to understand. Fast forward 12 years, and here we are. My daughter Mia wasn't invited to the party she helped plan, and Jessica didn't even blink. She brushed it off as if it was no big deal, as if the chair Mia uses to get around was just a logistical problem, not something that makes her a person. But what struck me the most was not what Jessica said, but how familiar those words were. Because Mia has been cut out of this family since the day she needed a ramp to move through life. When it first happened, it was unnoticeable. We all posed for the Christmas photo, all smiling in front of the Christmas tree. But Mia's wheelchair didn't fit in the frame, so they zoomed in on the upper half of the family. It looked great if you didn't know what was missing. I didn't say anything. It was just one photo, right? So I told myself it didn't matter. Then there was a birthday party in an open area. Grass and gravel. Mia couldn't go more than 10 feet without her wheels getting stuck. My sister, of course, had an excuse. "We didn't think about it," she said. As if she had forgotten the weather forecast, not her niece. I didn't call her out on it. I couldn't. To say so would be to admit that it was intentional, and if I admit that, I can't help but know it. I couldn't help but know that my family was okay with hurting my child. But now I know it, and I'm not going to stay silent anymore. As soon as I told Mia that we were not going to the party, it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Not easy, not perfect, but lighter. She didn't ask me what kind of gift I was getting. I think she wanted it to be a surprise. Or maybe she just wanted to feel that she could trust me to handle it. Her brother, on the other hand, was furious as only younger brothers can be. "They're all garbage men," he muttered during dinner. "I hope the cake falls off." I did not correct him. He wasn't wrong. "I hope the magician comes out in the middle of the trick and tells everyone that Santa isn't real," he added. "That's too much," Mia said, but even she smiled. It wasn't much, but it was a moment of joy, and it was the first time I had seen her since that phone call. That evening, I opened the invitation again. I stared at the guest list. Everyone was supposed to be there: aunts, cousins, friends. People who had known Mia since she was born. None of them said anything. None of them asked why Mia hadn't received an invitation. They knew and were silent. This was the most striking thing to me. The exclusion was not just one person's decision, it was a collective decision. Spoken or unspoken, it was agreed upon. And it hurt more than I expected. Because at that moment I realized that we were alone in this. Not only Mia and I, but all the other people who had been unnoticed over the years. Crossed off the guest list. They were pushed to the edge of the room so that they wouldn't spoil the atmosphere. And it was not just about the birthday. It was about a line. A line drawn in the sand, and we drew it ourselves. The next morning I wrote an email to the magician, the candy cart vendor, the balloon delivery team. I contacted everyone I had paid directly and asked if they could redirect me to the new address. They agreed without hesitation. I contacted a few parents I trusted, the ones who actually asked about Mia, not just out of politeness, but because they cared. I told them the truth. Some cried, others asked what they could bring. By lunchtime, we had another party. Same decorations, same vendors. Different address. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel like I was just surviving. I felt that I was doing the right thing not only as a mom, but as a person. Because it was not about being petty. It was about showing Mia that she would not be forgotten, at least not in front of me. The box we sent as a gift was large, wrapped in white paper with a dark green ribbon, of course, on the theme of the jungle. It stood in the center of the table with the cake, as if it had VIP status. It had a label on it, handwritten in gold ink, to Tyler, from Mia. I'm sure my sister saw it when she was putting the presents away. Perhaps she thought it was a peace offering. After all, even after everything that happened, Mia still wanted to give Tyler a gift. But that's the way people like Jessica think. They always think that kindness is submission. The fact is that quiet girls, well, they have teeth growing. We weren't at the party, of course. We were on the other side of town, in our own backyard. Balloons tied to the fence, music playing, chairs set up on the lawn. Mia was dressed in her favorite green dress with a golden headband and looked radiant despite everything. Her brother was driving a candy cart. The magician had just finished his first trick, and I could finally catch my breath. Lemonade in pitchers, children running and laughing, it was a real party. No one asked, "Why isn't Mia here?" We didn't need to talk about it out loud. It was a silent celebration, a space that Mia helped create. Her little fingers tied the ribbons on each jar, picked out the candy, and even designed the signs. She was part of the magic, even if she wasn't at the other party. I kept checking my phone, waiting for everything to unfold. I knew it would happen, I just didn't expect it to happen so quickly. At the real party, the one I paid for, the gift table was full. But Mia's box stood out. It was bigger, shinier, too intentional to be ignored. At some point, I imagine, someone had to ask about it. Maybe one of the children. They were always the first to notice the biggest gift. "What's this?" "Oh, it's from Mia," my sister must have said, probably struggling to force a smile. She couldn't make it. There was an awkward pause. Then someone asked, "Wait, why didn't she come?" Mia's absence, not just physical but a conscious choice, finally rang loud enough to disrupt the superficial joy of the event. Another voice picked up, "Was she not invited because of her wheelchair?" A father standing to the side muttered, "You've got to be kidding." But the awkwardness did not stop the truth from continuing to unravel. Someone pressed the play button. The video began with a soft piano playing in the background. Then Mia appeared, sitting at the kitchen table, carefully assembling packages of sweets, her calm voice filling the room. "Hi, I'm Mia. I helped make a lot of things for this party. I picked out the candy, helped design the signs, and tied ribbons on each jar because I wanted everything to look great for my cousin." She holds one of the jars in her hands and smiles. Her tone has changed, her voice is still even, but her words are more serious. "I really wanted to come, but I was not invited, because I am in a wheelchair." The room was silent for a moment, but then it exploded. People gasped. A silent "oh my god" echoed throughout the room. Someone whispered, "Wait, what?" The father in the background muttered, "This is bullshit." The video continued. Mia, still calm, still brave. "I didn't want to make a scene. I just wanted people to know what happened. Because if it happened to me, it must have happened to other children." And then the line that cut through the tension, clear and strong: "If you believe that every child deserves to be accepted, then tonight we are having our own party. There will be food, games, music, and we invite everyone even if you are not like everyone else. Especially if you're different." The screen went dark, and then a single line appeared, "Address" on the back of the tag. The silence that followed was suffocating. It lasted long enough for everyone to realize what had just happened, and then it broke. Not with laughter, but with movement. At first a few parents started whispering, then one mom spoke up loud enough for everyone to hear, "Wait, she wasn't invited because of her wheelchair?" Another added, "Did she help plan the party?" Dad chimed in, "I thought she was sick or something." It's all mixed up. Then, slowly, one family got up and left. There was no drama. They just gathered their things and quietly left. Then another family followed them. And another one followed. The children started asking questions. Why didn't they invite Mia? Didn't Tyler like her? One little girl, her voice pure and innocent, said, "That's mean." I almost felt sorry for my sister almost. But here's the thing, you can't exclude a child and then play the victim when the truth comes out in high definition. And the most interesting thing? The magician never showed up. The candy cart never showed up either. They were with us. In our backyard. The magician was showing card tricks to Mia's friends while the kids giggled around the snack table and the parents started trickling in, looking dazed, angry, but mostly relieved. Relieved that someone had finally said it. One mom hugged me and whispered, "I don't know what happened. I just knew it was wrong." Another dad stayed for the entire event, helping to clean up afterwards. By 1500 hours, our yard was full of people, and I was finally able to breathe again. At 15:30 I received a text from my cousin, "Half the party is gone. Your sister went crazy." The video was brutal. Also, can you give me the address of the new party? At the last party, I heard that Tyler locked himself in the bathroom. I didn't know if he was embarrassed or just depressed, maybe both. He is 12, after all. I can't pretend he's innocent, but I won't pretend he's a villain either. He is a child who grew up in a home where discomfort was more important than compassion. This is not his fault, but now it is his choice. As for my sister, she tried to get out of it. She told people that I had ambushed her, that Mia was used to attract attention, that I had deliberately made her look bad. But here's the thing about video evidence, it doesn't matter how you spin it. People saw Mia's hands tying bows, her voice steady and her face brave. They saw the truth and reacted. At the end of the evening, Mia was sitting on the porch with her brother, finishing the last cupcake. She looked tired but happy. She asked, "Do you think they're still mad?" I shrugged my shoulders. "Probably." She smiled. "Good." For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I had to clean up after her. I didn't feel bad for standing up for her. I just felt like a mother who did her damn job. The text messages continued to come all night. Some were supportive, some were not. I ignored most of them, except for one, from a number I didn't recognize. The message read, "She is braver than most adults I know." I showed it to Mia, and she nodded, saying, "I'm glad we sent a gift." I clinked my juice glass against hers. Best gift I've ever given. I knew the video wouldn't end. Not with my sister, not with the way she works. She's not the type to sit quietly when a mirror is held up to her face, especially when it's played on a tablet in front of 50 guests. The next morning, I woke up with over 40 unread messages, group chats, missed calls, and several voicemails that started with "I'm just sad that," and ended with a click on the delete button. Then came the email. The subject line read, "We need to talk about what you did." I didn't open it. There was no need to. I already knew what it would say. Something about how I attacked the family, ruined Tyler's special day, made a public spectacle out of a private misunderstanding. That's what she does. She spins. She redefines. She makes herself a victim of the mess she caused. But what I didn't expect, what took me by surprise, was the second wave. The lies she started telling people. She said that Mia had pretended not to be invited. That Mia had always been on the list. That it was just a mix-up in the schedule, blown out of proportion by my emotional instability. Her words. She told my family that I was out of control, acting irrationally, but the truth? The truth was there, and it was undeniable. My sister tried to manipulate the narrative. She said I edited the video, made Mia say those things to humiliate Tyler. Then she really outdid herself by spreading the lie to a few mutual friends, saying that Mia was going through a phase and was acting out to get attention. That her disability had become a personality. I don't know what was more painful, the lie or the random cruelty. The latter, in particular, almost drove me crazy. I thought about calling her, writing a long response with receipts, texts, a call where she admitted that Mia had not been invited, a log of invitations that never came, but I didn't. Because I knew something she didn't. When you're lying in a house full of windows, you can't scream when the truth knocks on your door. And it did. It turns out that children talk. And parents too. One of the moms who was at the party posted a long, heartfelt post in a private Facebook group for parents. She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. It was about how we talk to our children about exclusion, about how easy it is to justify cruelty when it is dressed up as the atmosphere, and about how silence makes you complicit. This post was shared more times than I could count. Then someone posted a cut from the video with a caption, "She helped plan the party, and then she wasn't invited." And the comments? Cruel. "She's 12 and she handled it better than most adults. I would have burned the whole party down." This is what ageism looks like in real life: subtle, dismissive, careless, and disgusting. One comment even read, "Tell her she's a hero." My sister tried to clap back. She made vague posts about false narratives and toxic behavior disguised as advocacy. But it didn't work, because here's the thing about public sympathy: it only works if people still believe you deserve it. 3 days later, Tyler finally wrote to me. "You've gone too far," he said. "We could have talked, but it's not going to be fixed now. I hope you're happy." I looked at the message for a long time and then replied, "You did not invite my daughter to her cousin's birthday party because of her wheelchair. You lied about it. And then you tried to make it look like a problem. We are not hopeless because of what I did. We can be fixed because I finally stopped pretending you didn't mean it." I hit send and walked away. I didn't need to hear anything else. I didn't owe her anything. But she wasn't done. A few days later, Mia came back from school with a tense face and teary eyes. "Tyler told people that I edited the video to make him look bad," she said, throwing her bag on the floor. "And that I hacked into his mom's email to delete my invitation." She wasn't crying, she was just tired, the kind of tiredness that settles deep in your bones when you've been trying too long and hard. I sat down next to her. "Do you believe in all this?" I asked. She shook her head. "No, but it still sucks." I nodded, holding her hand. "Yes, it does. And I'm sorry." She smiled tiny. "I just thought maybe it would end." I didn't lie. I didn't say it would end. I took a deep breath. People show you who they are, and now we know. We spent the evening making cakes. I let her pour the batter and lick the spoon, even though she said she was too old for that. She smiled anyway, and that smile was the first sign of something new, something good. A week later, the school psychologist called. It turned out that several children, including those who had not been invited to the first party, had formed a small club. Nothing official, just a group that ate lunch together and made sure no one was sitting alone. They called it Mia's table. The counselor said that Mia didn't ask for it, but she shows up every day. She is kind. She listens. She doesn't just participate, she leads. I thanked the counselor and then cried in the car for 10 minutes before I could drive home. By the end of the month, everything had calmed down. My sister stopped posting. Tyler kept his distance at school. My parents called one day, leaving a voicemail. We hate being in the middle. Could you two just work it out? I didn't answer because they weren't in the middle. They were just silent. And silence is a sign. I quietly walked away from everything. No more group messages. No more vacation planning. No more one more thing. I even returned the last invoice for the party to the supplier with a note marked "Cancelled at request." Let her deal with the mess herself. It felt good, clean, not vindictive. It was like closing an account that had been draining my battery for years. One evening, Mia and I were sitting on the porch, wrapped in blankets. She looked at me and asked, "Do you think it's worth it?" I didn't ask what she meant. I knew what she meant. I thought for a long time before answering. "Yes," I said. "Because I'm not going to teach you to diminish yourself just to make other people feel comfortable." She nodded. "I don't think I'll ever forget that." "You don't have to," I said. "But that doesn't mean you'll carry it with you forever. Just long enough to realize what you can never stand again." She didn't say anything else. We just sat there, letting the silence settle around us. That weekend, Mia received another invitation to a party from a classmate she barely knew, but who had seen the video. The note read, "You were the first person I wanted to invite. You look like the kind of person who makes things better just by being there." Mia read it twice and then handed it to me, not knowing what to do with it. "Go," I said. She left, and when she came home, she had 2 new friends, a cupcake, and glitter on her shoes. She smiled as she took off the paper bracelet they gave everyone at the entrance. It read, "Welcome." She taped it to the mirror in her bedroom. Sometimes I still wonder if I went too far. I mean, Tyler is 12, a child. Yes, the adults made the real choice, but it was still his birthday. And what happened? It ruined it. The gift, the video, half of the guests left. That's what people remember now, not the cake, not the games, not the balloons in the jungle that I paid for. And part of me thinks that maybe I should have handled it differently. Maybe I should have taken the good path. To talk calmly, let it go. But then I think about Mia. How small she became when she realized she wasn't invited. How she tried to smile. How long she worked on those souvenirs, not knowing that they would never make it to the table. And I think, if I had done nothing, if I had remained silent again, what would I have taught her? That kindness means letting people treat you like you're disposable? That being polite is more important than being noticed? That her place at the table is always optional? I couldn't do that. Not with her. So I wonder if I've gone too far.